History made. How Coco Gauff became the first American woman to conquer Roland Garros in a decade. For years, Roland Garros had been a fortress Americans struggled to breach. Its courts, coated in that iconic Parisian red clay, were slow, gritty, and unforgiving. Nothing like the hard courts of Miami or the grass of Wimbledon. For a decade, the trophy remained out of reach for American women, locked behind walls of European precision and South American power. But then came Coco Gauff, not as a surprise, not as a fluke, but as a force. At only 22, she walked into Paris not to chase history, but to claim it. And when she lifted the Coupe Suzanne Lenglen under the warm June sky, she didn't just become a champion. She became the American woman to shatter the drought, rewrite the script, and bring the clay court crown back where it hadn't been in 10 long years. This is the story of how she did it. A story of evolution, pressure, heartbreak, rebirth, and finally, triumph. A dream planted early. The seeds of Coco Gauff's rise weren't scattered across glamorous arenas. They were planted on small Florida courts where a young girl with oversized rackets practiced until the sun slipped below the horizon. Her parents, both former athletes, built her foundation not just in tennis, but in discipline, focus, and gritty resilience. Even at 10 or 12, her dream wasn't small. She wanted Roland Garros, the hardest slam, the one nobody expected her to win. As a child, she watched Serena Williams slide on Paris clay with ferocity, and somewhere inside her, a spark lit, one that refused to go out. While most young American players gravitated toward hard courts, Coco's team pushed her into grueling clay court swings in Europe. She learned to slide before she learned to drive. She learned patience before power. She learned that on clay, victory goes to the stubborn. That stubbornness became her secret weapon. Paris, the city of heartbreak and hope. Roland Garros has always felt like the emotional center of Coco's career. At 18, she made the final, her first Grand Slam final. She fought bravely but left with tears, feeling the sting of what could have been. At 19, she suffered a painful early exit. The pressure was loud, the expectations louder. Critics said she wasn't progressing fast enough. Social media grew harsh. Analysts debated if she was overhyped, but they didn't know Coco Gauff. Pressure doesn't break her. Pressure builds her. She returned every year, stronger, faster, wiser. She studied the clay like it was a language she was destined to master. She adapted her footwork, reshaped her forehand, learned the geometry of long rallies. Losses didn't discourage her. They educated her. And Paris watched it all, quietly, patiently, waiting for the moment she would bloom. The 202X tournament. Something felt different. The moment Gauff stepped onto court Philippe Chatrier for her first match of the tournament, something was unmistakably different. Her aura, her confidence, the way she moved, smooth, efficient, lethal. She wasn't chasing form. She was a form. Her early matches were a showcase of precision. Deep, rolling forehand that kicked like firecrackers. Backhand struck with robotic consistency. Drop shots feathered with finesse. Court coverage that left commentators speechless. She didn't just win, she dominated. Parisian crowds, famously hard to impress, fell in love with her energy, her charisma, her joy, her maturity. Still, her road was filled with giants. The quarterfinal, the test of fire. Her quarterfinal opponent was a top-5 slugger known for blistering pace and unshakable confidence, a player who had beaten Gauff in 2 previous encounters. This match was the storm before the sunrise. The first set was brutal. Heavy hitting, long rallies, defense turning into offense within seconds. Gauff blinked first and lost it. But what happened next was the turning point of the entire tournament. She smiled. That smile said everything. Okay, now I know what I need to do. She adjusted. She slowed the pace. She attacked the backhand. She used the clay like a partner. She took the second set with authority. The third, a masterpiece. She broke serve early, ran down every ball, and outlasted the impossible. Her roar when she sealed the victory shook the stadium. This was the moment the world realized. Coco Gauff isn't just competing for the title. She's destined for it. The semifinal, the tactical symphony. Her semifinal was against a seasoned clay expert, a wizard of spin, disguise, and courtcraft, a player who made opponents run in circles until they crumbled. But Coco wasn't fooled. She played the smartest match of her life. She absorbed pressure like a wall of steel. She redirected pace like a mirror. She mixed height, depth, angles, turning rallies into puzzles only she could solve. She showed patience that would make Nadal nod in approval. In straight sets, she dismantled a master. Paris rose to its feet, applauding brilliance. Now there was only one match left, one opponent, one final chapter between Coco Gauff and destiny. The final, a clash of titans. The final felt mythic, electric, larger than life. The stadium was packed, the air thick with tension, the world watching. Every camera, every eye, every heart focused on one 22-year-old woman who had carried American hopes on her young shoulders. Her opponent came out swinging, taking the first few games with aggressive precision. Gauff faltered briefly, footing unstable, timing a bit early, nerves whispering doubts. But champions don't fold. Champions adapt. She steadied her breath. She slowed her thoughts. She found rhythm, and the tide turned. Her defense turned suffocating. Her serve sharpened. Her shots grew heavier, deeper, more dangerous. She took the first set in a fierce tiebreak that left fans screaming. The second set was pure Coco, domination with joy. She sprinted like a dancer, struck like a warrior, and read her opponent's mind like a script she had memorized. At championship point, the entire stadium rose. The ball came fast. Gauff moved faster. A forehand down the line, bold, brutal, breathtaking. Winner. The crowd erupted. Her hands flew to her face. Tears streamed. History shifted. Coco Gauff had conquered Roland Garros. After 10 long years, America had a new queen of clay, a victory bigger than a trophy. What made this triumph powerful wasn't just a trophy. It wasn't even the history. It was who Coco Gauff had to become to win it. Legacy, the story that will be told for decades. Years from now, tennis fans will still talk about this victory. They'll talk about the pressure she overcame, the belief she built, the critics she silenced, the barriers she broke, the history she reclaimed. They'll look at the photos of her lifting the Roland Garros trophy, tears sparkling, clay on her shoes, heart full, and say, that was the moment everything changed. Because it did. Final thoughts. A champion of spirit. Coco Gauff didn't just win Roland Garros. She conquered the impossible. She revived American pride. She rewrote expectations. She proved that greatness doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from persistence, evolution, and unshakable self-belief. She is more than a champion. She is a story, a movement, a legacy in progress. And now, history will forever remember her as the first American woman in a decade to conquer Roland Garros, and the woman who made millions believe again. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.